Anthony Fauci misled the Senate when he said that the NIH did not fund the gain-of-function research. Should you have fired Fauci?
So a lot of people ask me that question, and I did it right. Because if you do fire him, you're going to have a firestorm on the left again, as usual. And I didn't listen to him. If you think about it, he wanted to keep our country open to China, and I closed it. He wanted to keep our country open to Europe, and I closed it. He talked about masks being no good. Well, I'm not a huge mask believer, but I think they have some purpose. And now he's a radical masker. I mean, everything he's done, he's a great promoter. He's a bad pitcher. He was telling me what a great athlete he was. I said, you can't throw a baseball 15 feet. I never saw it. That was, other than President Obama, it may be the worst throw I've ever seen to home plate. No, I think I did the right thing because we would have had a firestorm. Less of a firestorm now if he was fired, because he's been wrong so often. But if you think of it, he wanted to keep our country open to China, Europe, and all these places, and I didn't do it.
But look, we did something that was historic. We saved tens of millions of lives worldwide. We, together, all of us, not me, we got a vaccine done, 3 vaccines done, and tremendous therapeutics like Regeneron and other things that have saved a lot of lives. We got a vaccine done in less than 9 months that was supposed to take from 5 to 12 years. Because of that vaccine, millions and millions of people. I think this would have been the Spanish flu of 1917, where up to 100 million people died. This was going to ravage the country far beyond what it is right now. Take credit for it. Take credit for it. It's a great, what we've done is historic. Don't let them take it away. Don't take it away from ourselves. You're playing right into their hands when you sort of like, oh, the vaccine. If you don't want to take it, you shouldn't be forced to take it. No mandates, but take credit because we saved tens of millions of lives. Take credit. Don't let them take that away from you.
Okay, so the president made news.
Do you agree with that?
Right? Both the president and I are vaxxed, and did you get the booster?
Yes.
I got it too. Okay, so...
Don't. That's all. There's a very tiny group of it.
Hello everybody, my name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today we're going to talk about Trump and just how, again, it's been a year and he's still championing his disastrous policies in response to the coronavirus. His policies were overall a complete disaster for the entire country, and he wants to act like that him closing the border to China did anything when it did not, because it was already here before he closed the border, so it was a very pointless virtue signal. Now, if you wanted to close the border to China because we shouldn't be trading with China because they're an enemy, that's one thing. But that's not what he did. So it was a completely meaningless gesture, did nothing to save anybody's lives. And, of course, we can always talk about how he locked the country down, because just because he tolerates the tyranny of governors below him does not mean he gets off the hook for that nonsense. That's not how federalism is supposed to work. Federalism is supposed to work for the people, not for the tyrants. So, with that said, if we look at the second clip, the one where he talks about how great of an accomplishment this is just cringe as it gets. There's enough data to suggest his great accomplishment did not work whatsoever. The amount of lives he claims were saved is completely erroneous, especially when it did not work against the next variant that came along. It clearly showed to be a complete and utter failure against the Delta. And they had to change the definition of what a vax was. So this is just a cringe take by someone who's completely out of touch with his audience. And as you can see, there were some boos. And I don't know what those people were expecting. I guess they came there for Trump, because who still cares about Bill O'Reilly? Bill O'Reilly is a has-been. He sucked at the time. He sucks now. This is someone who is a moderate claiming to be a conservative. And he's also a branch Covidian now as well. And, and let's just talk about Trump for a second. This guy was diagnosed with coronavirus in October of 2020. and yet he still got vaccinated, and yet he still got a second dose, and yet he still got a booster. What a dummy. Like, this is, he's stupid. So with that said, and how he completely undermined his own natural immunity by doing so, his take that the jabs save lives is completely erroneous. Odds are it'll cost people more lives than ever were saved, and therefore it would be a net drain on everyone, because we all had to pay for this nonsense. We all had to pay Pfizer, Moderna, and by the way, I believe the government partially owns the patent for Moderna's products, so that, that's not fascism at all, by the traditional definition of the you don't know where a corporation starts and a government begins, and how they both work together for public control. That's a textbook definition. It doesn't matter if there's private companies of the government and they're all working together for the same ends. And we can talk about how they shoved other therapeutics under the rug, buried them so they can get the emergency use authorization. We can talk about all these things, but in any case, I can believe how out of touch Trump is with his own base. His base does not support this. It's not enough to be against mandating. It's not enough. It's not enough. You should be actively opposing, at the minimum, vaccinating children with the jab. You should be against giving the jab to children. What, completely, whole docket. You should be against the government funding this. Whole cloth. And if anything, I think we need a government, taxpayers need a refund. So this is such a weak position. I can't believe people think he's a viable contender in 2024. Obviously he is, because there's a political machine that'll already rush to back him. But in terms of his appeal with the base, he should be considered out. I don't get the mentality of why we need him. We don't need him anymore. He's done his part. For better or worse, he has advanced the cause. But we do not need him anymore, because he's not advancing the cause anymore. He's actually holding the cause back. It's not enough to only oppose mandates. That's not enough. It's not enough. Now you're going on some stupid tour with Robert Jeffress and Bill O'Reilly, two has-beens, two hacks, and you think this is how you're going to save the country and make America great again, by doing tours with hacks? This is nonsense. This is so out of touch. We can also talk about his social media scam pack, and by S-pack, he's basically gonna raise a bunch of money for stock in order to acquire a social media company or build one, but the stock already exists. This is just a scam because it's way behind schedule and doesn't seem to have any value proposition to get it away from, to pull alternative social media users away from platforms like Gab and Odyssey. It's just another scam. And we need to wise up to this. I'm not saying Trump has done nothing good, but in 2020, he didn't fight for us. That's a fact. In 2021, he didn't really fight for us either. That's a fact. So I'm frustrated. I think a lot of people are frustrated. And his fetish with the jabs is going to cost him politically, I think. Especially as the results of the jabs get worse and worse and worse and worse. And they are shown to be less and less and less effective. I think this can only hurt him politically. But again, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. So my name's Ray. This is the Evangelical Dark Web. Let me know what you think about what I think. I don't think I'll be doing too many videos for the rest of the year, but we will be doing a live stream December 29th, 8 p.m. Eastern, I think. And that'll be a year-end live stream. We're just going to recap the year. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to have my team on board with me. That'll be a good time, I think. And we're going to have some awards to give out. So you're going to want to catch these awards. This is like the most fun an award show can be since the Dundies. So be on the lookout for that. Again, my name's Ray. Let me know what you think about what I think, and I will catch you on the next